Most people walking through downtown Seattle have no idea they're walking on top of a forgotten city. After the Great Seattle Fire of 1889, the streets were physically razed, leaving the old sidewalks and old storefronts buried underground. At first, I thought this was just clever urban engineering, but the more I looked into it, the more I started to ask, what else did Seattle choose to bury? And why? According to the documentary by the historical YouTube channel Geographics, the city elevated its streets to fix sanitation and flooding problems. But Seattle historian Brianna points out that the project also created a sharp break from the city's past. Businesses were stuck operating in makeshift spaces while new streets were built above them. For Williams, this wasn't just about infrastructure. It was about reshaping civic identity and separating Seattle from its rowdy, working-class origins. One of the stories buried in that transformation is that of Lou Graham, a brothel owner whose business generated a massive share of the city's tax revenue. As Geographics and Williams both explain, Graham even lent money to the banks during the city's reconstruction. And yet, on today's underground tour, her legacy is often reduced to a joke. Instead of acknowledging her financial impact, the city packages her story for laughs, oversimplifying a woman who challenged gender roles and economic power structures. The tour itself was started by journalist Bill Speidel, whose efforts to revive public interest in the underground are noted in Brad Holden's biography on historylink.org. While Speidel's work reintroduced this space to the public, the tour now focuses heavily on the eccentric characters and humorous anecdotes. It rarely addresses themes like inequality, political resistance, or systemic exclusion. Take, for example, Seattle's brief experiment with women's suffrage in 1854. As Geographics explains, women gained the right to vote until they started voting against corruption. That right was quickly removed. But this story barely makes it into the tour script, even though it reveals how political power was taken just as quickly as it was granted. That's when I started to understand. The underground isn't just a quirky part of the city. It's a symbol of selective memory. As travel writer David Szmidt explains in his article for Kiwi.com, the tour leans into mystery and curiosity, not critical history. What isn't entertaining is often let out. Seattle chose to build over its own past, and in doing so, it also chose what stories to highlight and what stories to hide. The underground makes it clear that forgetting is often designed, and that forgetting shapes how cities see themselves and who gets remembered. In exploring the Seattle underground, I didn't just learn about a hidden city. I learned that historical memory is curated, that stories of power, resistance, and disruption can vanish unless we ask what's missing. What we preserve says a lot about who we are, but what we bury, that might say even more.